Boogie. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays. We're very glad you're with us this afternoon. It is June 29th. Hard to believe the year is almost half over. For those people on Zoom, if you will, if you have any questions, please just send your questions into the chat box. And for those on Facebook, please just send your questions into the comment field. I am monitoring both feeds and we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, and if you have your microphone or camera on, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org to help people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in their job search by trying to put everything they need to know in one place. In 2012, I started a second website, careerusa.org, to help people outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007, and I'll tell you about our upcoming programming at the end of the session that we're doing this Friday. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, which is also known as the PIT crew. If you need practice, and you should want to practice your interviewing skills, this is a great way to do it. They're here to help you. You can practice as many times as you want. If you'd like to get more information, please reach out to me and I'll get that information to you. Well, we do LinkedIn every Tuesday, and we've got 4 different speakers who talk about LinkedIn. And the reason for this is that everybody talks about LinkedIn from a little bit different point of view. And it's always great to hear different points and different things, because you're not going to remember everything that Locke talks about over the next hour. But if you just take a couple of things away and do it this week, that'll be great. And then next week you hear from Terry and you take a couple things away, and then a couple things from Ruth and a couple things from Kurt, and then come back and join us again in a month when Locke talks again, and maybe you'll pick a couple different things out, and it'll help you perfect your LinkedIn profile. So today our speaker is Locke Alderson. He's a career consultant, recruiting consultant, contract recruiter. He's going to talk about how to use LinkedIn for job hunting, strategies to get results. So Locke, thank you very much for being with us, and I'll turn it over to you.
I'm not getting the share screen, Jeff.
Yeah, try one more time.
We'll stop sharing.
There we go. You're up.
Okay, well, my name is Locke Alderson. I've spent 42 years in recruiting and HR with a number of companies, retiring in 2010 from Oracle Corporation. Back in 2001, I started volunteering with those in career transition as a speaker at workshops and seminars. And then in 2013, I was asked by Mullen International if I'd like to try that, because I'd been a volunteer. So I'd like to be an outplacement counselor for about 3 months. That 3-month contract lasted for 4 years and 3 months before Mullen International sold out to Lee Heck Harrison. Mullen laid everybody off, and I was picked up by Lee Heck Harrison a month later. I was with them for 2 years before I finally stepped down at the end of 2019. I've worked with LinkedIn for probably about 15 years now. And these are some insights I've gathered both as a user of LinkedIn, as a recruiter, but also as a user of LinkedIn to try and help find jobs. Well, that's what we want to talk about today. Okay, so why use LinkedIn? That's one of the topics we want to touch on. Another is your profile, your headline and the about sections, open to work, and skills and endorsements. How do you optimize your profile to get found? How do recruiters actually use LinkedIn to do searches? And then how do you go about searching for jobs and creating job alerts, and how do you use the filters? And then searching for people. And I also want to include something else. How do you search for jobs at a target company, which is something new picked up? And then some homework, some items for you to do and check on your profile. Well, let's talk about LinkedIn, Originally, LinkedIn was a tool for networking by sales and marketing professionals. Reason, there are now about 750 million people worldwide on LinkedIn. 160 million of those are in the US. So guess what? Recruiters quickly adapted it. Right now, there are about 1.4 million recruiters who use LinkedIn to find and engage talent. LinkedIn is now the #1 tool used by recruiters, not the only one, but certainly the one that they use anywhere from, it's been estimated that in job hunting, 30 to 50% of the jobs are found through LinkedIn. But hiring managers and recruiters, probably 92% of them use it to check people out or to find people as a sourcing tool. Right now, there are about 30 million employers who have LinkedIn accounts, and they have over 20 million available jobs at any point in time on LinkedIn on any given day. If you're not on LinkedIn, if you just tuned in to find out, you can go to YouTube and check LinkedIn, signing up for LinkedIn. How do you sign up and fill out your profile? And it will get you that, okay? It all starts with your profile. I want you to take a look briefly at mine and notice a few things because we're going to come back to that in a few minutes. But again, basically that's your homepage on LinkedIn. A number of things that you see on that. And as I say, we'll touch on them when we come back to it in a few minutes. Okay, take a quick look at that before we move on. So how do you complete your profile or you want to complete your profile to increase your LinkedIn ranking? Every section on LinkedIn has a value. And the more that you complete, more sections that you completed, the more active you're on LinkedIn, the higher the rating that you get to cut to all-star status. Used to be they had a pie chart, and the highest you could ever get on LinkedIn was a 95%. But anyway, in the all-star status. You need a professional headshot. You noticed mine, and perhaps a background or banner photo. And we'll talk a little bit about those, how you can use those to tell who you are and how to get in touch with you. The headline, it's the job title, the position that you're applying for, or the positions that you're applying for. If you don't use a headline or don't fill that section in, it's going to default to the last job title in your employment section. Open to work is a section underneath your headline. If you're not using that, shame on you. You should be, because it adds to that and certainly alerts recruiters in particular about your interest in looking for another job. The next section, the About section, used to be called the Summary, is an overview of your career. You have 2,000 characters in the About section to play with. Okay, some people, most of the people I take a look at, their summary is only maybe 150, 200 words. So you're shortchanging yourself if you don't take advantage of that. Your contact information, if you're not linked to everybody or an open LinkedIn Lion, which is an open networker on LinkedIn, again, people may not be able to get hold of you. So you want to put your contact information, your email and your phone number on the first line of your About section. It can also be the bottom of your About section if it's a long one. You should have it because you may not be open to everybody's connection. You and I may not be first degree connections, so that I can see a phone number to reach out and call you or send you an email. The experience section should consist of your job title. And if you have an unusual job title like member of design, member of technical staff 4, you want to explain what that is in parentheses with the generally used title, perhaps design engineer or systems engineer. Again, what it is makes it easy for the reader to understand what you do, and a description of your duties and some of the results from performing those duties. You also want to include some keywords about your profession. And again, there's no limit. Unlike resumes, you have plenty of space to talk about your experience. I want to talk about your skills from your profession. And LinkedIn is very good about that. It's developed a skills table or a base, and from artificial intelligence, it allows you to add those. And people can endorse you for those skills that you have. I know when we take a look at my profile again, you'll see that my endorsements are 99 on those, which is the maximum number that they will show. But in some cases, you can have 200 or 300 endorsements. All things being equal, a candidate who has one endorsement versus a candidate who has 99, I tend to lean toward the one who has 99. Either they're a better politician, more likely than not, they have more professional expertise in that area, that skill. Education awards, certifications, and professional development. All too often on LinkedIn profiles as well as resumes, somebody just talks about the education they have, which may have been 15, 20 years ago. I know mine is a little bit more than 50 years ago. So again, you want to talk about what you've done to keep your skills current, including the professional development. Any workshops or seminars like this are something that you might want to consider adding. And recommendations. These are like letters of references. And if you have these, you usually want to have 3 or 4, or at least a couple for each of the jobs that you've had. People can talk about you, and people can get, the reader can get an idea of your areas of expertise. Well, those are some reasons to completing your profile. Let's take another look at your profile. This is again mine. You want to check and make sure that your LinkedIn profile is public. When you click on that, you click on the U on here, look at your profile. You can edit your public profile. When it comes up, this is what it's going to have. Typically, it's going to have some letters and numbers after your name, and you want to take those out. Now, if you have a pretty common name like John Smith or Mary Jones, you may have to add something like CPA or MBA or Dallas, something to identify who you are and where you are. If it's an okay term that you can use, like there may be a dozen Mary Joneses in the Dallas area, it'll give you a red X if that's already used. A green check says you can go ahead and use that one. Is your public profile really public? Well, you can go to your privacy and settings once you set view profile and take a look at that. Some things, there's a number of criteria over on this right-hand side of the screen that you can take a look at and new settings on. A couple of those you want to take a look at. Who can download and see your email address? That's a way that people can get hold of you. Who can view your public profile is another one. Who can see your connections? If you're in job search mode, you may want to close down your connections because people like you might be on the candidate list for a recruiter. It's a way that they build their candidate list. Again, back to your profile. It all starts with your profile. And as you look at that, you notice a couple of things. I have a good headshot. Again, my wife took that professional picture with a shirt and tie. I've got a background photo. Some people have a banner photo with their name in it, or their contact information. In this particular shot, I'm open to work. I've clicked that underneath, open to work down here, and it gives you that green banner right there below that. If you'd use that, you may want to adjust where your picture flies so it doesn't cover your face. If you notice, my name is also there. You want to use the name that you're known by. Make it easy for people to reach out and contact you. You want to also have your headline. You notice a number of things in my headline. These are job titles that I have: career consultant, executive recruiter. I've used the pipe character, which is an uppercase just above your keyboard. It's an uppercase character on your keyboard. When you shift, and you can use that. If you use it, use a space on either side of it. So it's a searchable term. So it makes consultant searchable and career coach searchable. If you don't, or use a backslash and don't put a space around it, again, it's not searchable. You can use a comma and then a space, which make it also searchable. Open to work is a area that you can fill in. Notice these are some particular job titles that I might be looking for, and you can edit that by clicking on the blue pencil and adding more. In this case, I've opened it up to all LinkedIn members. If you notice on the first view of my profile, I had that shut down, so it's only open to recruiters. Well, that's something that you can do there. You notice that there's over 500 connections in my contact information, and a couple of groups that I'm members of are shown there as well. So that's my LinkedIn profile in a quick summary. But there's more to your profile than that. Here are some sample headlines that appear there. Again, take a look at these and see what you think. In my estimation, these aren't particularly good ones. Again, unemployed is probably truthful. Retired is also truthful, seeking a new opportunity, but they don't reflect you in the most positive light. Here's another one. Come on. Formerly VP of Finance. Nothing wrong with that one, except that you're telling somebody that you're out of work. You probably, and a lot of people are on LinkedIn that are out of work, but you don't need to broadcast it. This one is a little bit stronger. Experienced digital design engineer. Talks a little bit more than just being a design engineer. He's a digital design engineer. He's open to new opportunities. Here's someone for a PR type individual or marketing communications. You notice the pipe character. You have, when you're using your headline, you have 220 characters to play with. Some people, when I look at, you only have that first line, which is about 60 characters worth. Or that one's actually about 40 characters. Supply chain. This one is short and succinct, even shorter than the one above, but it tells individual that they have experience in supply chain, procurement, purchasing. They might also add logistics, which won't fit on the screen for that particular line. Here's one for a senior accountant who has GL. Sometimes you can use an acronym, general ledger, financial reporting, and cost accounting. Those are meaningful to the people who know about accounting. and recruiters likewise. Executive assistant, there are probably 35 or 40,000 of those if I do a search for an executive assistant on LinkedIn in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it's helpful to amplify and expand on that. Somebody who has budgeting and event planning experience. They might have supported several vice presidents at the executive level. Another one, here's another short one, an IT project manager with ITIL experience. That's a certification. They're a Scrum Master and they've used Agile. For IT recruiters, those are all magic words that they understand very quickly. Our general manager, manufacturing and aerospace. Again, pretty straightforward in terms of what the individual is, but you're not limited to the characters that are shown there. You can have expanded headlines. So here are some good headlines and some better ones. VP of Marketing, Global Marketing. How about this? Creating value for business through effective marketing strategies that have increased sales by 40%. Pretty impressive for the individual. This one, a good project manager, sales manager. Better program manager specializing in international business expansion in the aerospace sector. It defines the industry. And you can define that or modify that how you might. But again, it gives more information about you. Remember, this is advertising for you to get somebody to pick up the phone and call you or to reach out to you with an email. Again, increasing sales. Anytime that you can talk about increasing something or retaining customers, those are valuable things for somebody in customer service. I know I was online with my bank today to customer service. It only took me 45 minutes to resolve something that was easy and simple as changing the address on my business account on the checks that go out, something that I couldn't do online. So it was very difficult to do that. But again, customer service, retaining customers is very important. It's cheaper to retain a customer than to go out and get new ones. Letting recruiters know that you're open to work or open to new opportunities. That's here, appears below your name as you see here. Some of the reasons that you, oh, go back. It's things that you can add on that is your status and where you're looking and what you're looking for. This one was in the San Diego area. In terms of locations as well, you could identify that. If you're open to other areas of the country, you want to talk about that. I know I'm working with a candidate in one of the networking groups is in Chicago, and he's looking to move to the Dallas area. So he's on a networking group that's here in Dallas to do that. Next area on your profile is your dashboard and your featured section. You notice the dashboard here, who's viewed my profile in the last 30 to 90 days, the number of postings. I posted information about this presentation today, and I had about 500 people that saw that posting. And how many search appearances? I'm not actively looking, so this isn't a large number right now. This salary insights is something new that LinkedIn has added over the last year or so and give you how do you compare with others in your community with a similar background. The next area that you want to take a look at is the features section. I've got several of my LinkedIn presentations. Some of my presentations that I do to groups. The job hunting, this one is there. This is the edition that was back in, I think that was back in June early June when I posted that. Avoiding the resume black hole is another one. But I have about 8 presentations that you can see them online. And by the way, if you should want a copy of this presentation, send me an email at Alderson, all one word, at gmail.com, and I'll send you the complete slide deck. When you click on the search appearances here, when you do that, a couple of things will show up. It'll show where the searchers worked, what companies or organizations, and what were the terms that they used. In this case, they're looking for a recruiter. So it might be Lee Heck Harrison might be looking for me as a recruiter. In other words, somebody from Martin Marietta might be looking for a recruiter to help them find a job. But again, knowing what keywords they've used, you can include some of those keywords in your profile so that those are more searchable terms. Let's take a look at summaries next in the About section. This is a good one. And notice at the top of the summary section, it has their email address. This is a rather long one for, normally I recommend 3, 4, 5 sentences and then a break. But this one has used both bold and normal text. Has defined what a senior finance and operations leader with experience. They've also defined financial planning analysis, which is sometimes abbreviated FP&A, which is a searchable term. Some terms are searchable for recruiters. Others, it's good to spell them out. Anytime you use an acronym, it's good to spell out the first time that you use it. But that's a pretty good one. Here are some other summaries. Again, you don't have to use third person. You can use first person as it is here. I am grateful to the partner to partner with many world-class award-winning companies. Okay, their companies are listed. They've broken up. They've listed some of the companies that they've worked with Disney World and Disney Institute and golf. And again, here's a strategic, creative, hands-on marketer with a passion for building opportunity. Remember, with your summary, you have 2,000 characters that you play with. When we look at my profile live, you'll see some ways that you can do that. When you get to the experience section, which is the next section, you want your job title, the company name and dates, your duties and responsibilities, and some of the results that you've achieved, and bullet areas of accomplishment or results. You notice I was a senior recruiter at Oracle, and I've got the dates. I've got a 4-line description of my duties. I've got a couple of bulleted accomplishments that I had there. And when I left Oracle, Amanda Gill, who was then the director of recruiting for Oracle North America, sent me an email. I just happened to copy that and paste it in here at the bottom of this section on my profile. So those are some of the things that you can do. This icon of Oracle, sometimes they'll pick that up on LinkedIn, picks up icons and includes them for you. If you're not working and don't have a current position, you need to add one. Reason being, one of the sections on LinkedIn gives values for is if you have a current position, okay? If you don't, you want to put the kind of position, the added experience, you can add with the title of the job that you're looking for. You're looking for full-time company, you're searching for an opportunity perhaps in a certain industry, and that you're looking in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Notice when I started to type in DA, it gave me a couple of options from a drop-down menu. The next area is your skills and endorsements, further down on your profile, and you can include up to 50, okay? As you start to type in one up here, if it's one that recognizes, go ahead and let you do it. If it's not, it won't let you include it. Or you can simply drop down to the suggested ones for your profile, click on that, and it will add it to the list up there. Okay, LinkedIn will select 3 skills in this section based on their artificial intelligence. Those may not be the ones that you want to include. This one happened to choose for me, career counseling, executive search, and recruiting. And notice this 99 plus, those are the number of endorsements that I've had, including a couple of people who work with me at Mullen International. Okay, so those are what you can do, but you can rearrange those. If you drop one down further and click on that blue pencil up here, this is what it's going to allow you to do. Notice the push pins up here. I think they're green on LinkedIn now. You can push that, and I push that, and it will drop career counseling down, and I could perhaps put internet recruiting or professional recruiting. I can rearrange the 3 in this section by going over here to the 4 lines, holding my cursor down and drag and drop to the position that I want that. You can do that in your industry knowledge as well. You may want to alphabetize these because there may be 25 or so in that group so that you can alphabetize and make it easy to find where you are. But most of my experience is in recruiting. I don't list a lot of my experience in HR, compensation and benefits, training and development. I just don't include those in that. But those are all part of my profile that's there that I can include. The next area is taking a look at your profile, looking at other people. Do a search for yourself on LinkedIn, okay? You can just do it on the people area, this area here or down there. If you go to the jobs up there, it will click on that. Jobs will be the top one. When if you click on people, if people is one of those that you can do it, click on that down arrow and click on people, you can take a look at people's profile. If you don't show up in the first 10 screens, that's about 10 thumbnail sketches per screen, then you probably are not very searchable on LinkedIn. You want to do some things to change and include things that are there. So look at Christina, for somebody who's a recruiter, or Kaylee, or Kelsey, or Mitch. Take a look at their profile and see what they've done. Your activity on LinkedIn counts, and that's the reason I probably don't show up. I'm not on it every day searching for a job or for candidates. But I used to be on the first 2 pages if you searched in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Dallas-Fort Worth area for people. But take a look at their profiles. Take a look at some of the verbiage and include it in yours. Don't copy it word for word, because somebody may know that person, and when they see you, they'll know that that's not your real background. What do recruiters really search for? Well, some of the things, and we'll see that in a couple of minutes in some of the results, they use keywords. They use job titles, both the job titles of your current position and your prior positions. Those can be in your headline, your open to work section, and in your employment sections. They look at skills. They may look for industries and specific companies, and we'll see that on one of the search results. They may look at your education. I know when I applied for a job here in the Dallas area back in the probably 2008, 2009, the companies were looking for an MBA from a top business school in the country. Well, I just happened to go to one of those, depending upon whose list of top 10 schools you were looking at. Attended one of those. I didn't get the job, but that was okay as well. Again, they take a look at your prior companies and your length of service. They take a look at your pedigree as well. And it's once they've narrowed those down, they'll reach out and go back through the list of companies. So what does LinkedIn do with your searches? Okay, how does LinkedIn, what happens when it runs a search? Well, as I said, LinkedIn gives a score for every profile section. Okay, it adds those up, and again, on each section there'll be a high number of candidate and a low number of candidate. They add up the total of those, and that's how it appears in the search results. Again, keywords, skills, exact match on job title and current and previous positions, and in the headline. Company and specific companies and industries. Somebody may be recruiting for somebody that worked for Microsoft or another company like Amazon Web Services up in the Seattle area. Open to work. Again, recruiters like to go after easy or low-hanging fruit. People that are open to changes or open to opportunities. That's something that they're going to be looking for. Geographic location. Most people don't want to drive more than 25 miles to work. So recruiters said, okay, well, I'll limit our search to 25 miles. And we'll see that on one of the search results we have. Okay, if somebody's open to work nationwide, a number of the positions I was looking for on Oracle were anywhere across the country that I could find somebody with that background. So again, that can be very, very valuable as well. All-star status and having a complete profile is one of those factors that enter into the search results, as well as first and second degree connections and having over 500 connections. So connect with those people that you encounter. Send them an invitation. Jeff will talk briefly about that, how you do that, and we'll take a look at somebody's profile. Make comments on postings and articles, or write or post a blog or an article. Let's take a look at a recruiter search. This is one that Kurt Vandemotter has used, and he does his search. This is the data input sheet, and he's used it. You can notice all the different opportunities that are possible. Okay, locations, skills, companies, schools, years since graduation. Those are the things that they have, and he's checked all of those. Those are the ones that he wants to see in a result. And this is a possible result. This was a pretty general research using LinkedIn, using the recruiter package, which is a special package that Microsoft sells or LinkedIn sells to recruiters. It runs for a professional package. It runs about $6,000 to $8,000, maybe it's $10,000 a year for the first seat. If you get Recruiter Lite, which a friend has got Recruiter Lite, she's also an executive search, she only pays about $500 a month for that. But again, this was for accountants anywhere, and they didn't limit the search, so it's all across the United States. So there's about 4,281,000 people. Okay, and again, those who are likely to respond, open to new opportunities. So out of that, less than 10% are open to new opportunities. Those are the ones that a recruiter might want to take a look at. This is another search, actual search results. Again, in this case, candidate was looking for a job title, a product manager in Seattle. And they were open looking in Seattle. They would take somebody from the San Francisco area, product marketing, product management, competitive analysis, one of the companies that they had targeted. I have to be careful, my keyboard is very sensitive. From Microsoft, Amazon, or Fluke, which is another company in Seattle. And obviously they identified one school that they would consider as well. Notice in this case, there were about 6,900 candidates in that met those criteria. They have company connections, somebody who's following the company, and then engage the company's talent brand. Okay, those are things that you can follow. Those are things that you can do when you look at a company. Let's take another look at another search. This is one for a project manager in Chicago. Again, they would consider other titles that you can see there. They would consider candidates from San Francisco or New York. They had to have some business strategy and analytics experience. And again, you list the number of candidates, you can see some of the results. And they had some companies, Google, Facebook, Evernote, LinkedIn, some companies. Northwestern happens to have a pretty good business school up in the Chicago area. In this case, there were 43,000, almost 43,000 candidates, but only 83 of those were open to new opportunities. So again, as a recruiter, Recruiter, I would probably take a look at those 83 first, and you can look at those profiles on those. That's about 9 screens to take a look at. You click on those. If I wanted to go down and click on Channing Curry or Emily Dalton, again, those are the people that I want to take a look at. Again, how about searching for jobs? Well, the first thing that you can do, if you go to the Jobs tab and then click on it, open up a search box or a toolbar with a search jobs and location. If you enter a title there, start to enter a title there, which is consultant, C-O-N-S or C-O-N, it'll give you some drop-down list of intelligence, so things that you can choose on. If you happen to choose one from the list and fail to fill in a location, it will go to the United States. It will default to that. So you want to fill in something like that unless you've got a search that's already open. Let's take a look at a search that I did for a senior accountant in Plano, Texas. Notice the 25-mile criteria. That's a thing that somebody is listed to, and most of the job boards have that as a default setting for job searches. Again, because recruiters list it that way. But if you live in Denton and are willing to work in Dallas or Fort Worth, that's more than 25 miles. So you can get around that by listing a zip code in your profile. It's perhaps Dallas 75201, which is a downtown zip code for Dallas. Notice in this case, there are 144 results. And again, that lists all of the job listings that are there. Now on this, you could go, one of the filters that we want to use, and we'll take a look at filters next, is the date that it was posted, okay? I always recommend that you click that down to the past week, because the first response to a posting on LinkedIn or any of the other job boards is usually within the first 3 minutes, and there can be as many as a couple of hundred in the first hour. So again, sometimes recruiters will shut down the posting, shut down the search. You may have encountered this job is no longer available. Another factor that's been added on LinkedIn is this factor over here. You can filter by salaries. And now this LinkedIn filters, if I clicked on that, again, now it's just half a screen. It's on the right-hand half of the screen. This was before LinkedIn changed that. But you can limit it. Of those jobs that we had for a recruiter in the Dallas area, we mentioned 6, this is for the 2000. Of those recruiting jobs that are available, 48 of them paid more than $125,000 a year, okay? So these are some of the filters that you can use to make it easier to narrow down your search. If you're doing too many, you can click the clear button up here and go back to your original research for a recruiter in Dallas County. And again, by doing that, you don't have to recreate that, but you can look by industry and by specific company. But notice this number of 2,087, that's all jobs at any point in time that have not been physically removed from LinkedIn. So they may be dormant jobs, those jobs probably are already filled. You can, when you've created that and you've gone to recruiter in Plano, Texas, okay, at 25 miles, there's a tab at the top that says create job alert. In this case, clicking it off, I turned it on. This is what it looks like on the screen. So you can get a daily result or a weekly result, a thumbnail sketch. It's a good idea to create those, and then you can thumb through those first thing in the morning and fire off an application for that. And this is what it looks like when that's turned on. You see the radio button is to the right. Okay, you can search for people. Why is it important to search for people? Because you may be looking for contacts at certain companies. You may be looking at some other things at companies. In other words, somebody did a search for using my first name, that's me on the top there. But there's an account, there's a law firm here, there's a hotel, there's a information technology IT services company, and again, some others that are there. So that's how you can click on result just using a first name. Mine is unusual enough. I saved it when somebody showed me what they'd done. Another way that you can look for people is to look in your network. So you go to the toolbar at the top and click on your network. This particular individual has 2,600 in their network, and you can search by name, or you can search using filters, as it says here. Okay, so you can see this. These are the different ways that you can filter. Sometimes the filters look a little bit different, and I'm not sure that this one is the most current version of filters. The other way in this case was looking for people who were searching by their company page. In this company, in this case, I did a search on Meta Analytics. It's a company on Bush Tollway in Richardson, next to the TI facility up there. In this case, what happened, I would follow. This is how you can follow companies and visit their website. This also allows you to see their homepage, about, post, jobs, and people. When I clicked on people, or they have 510 employees. It happens to be where they live. If you notice down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So what I did was to click on that, and then I entered recruiter for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it came up that there was just one, and her picture was right down there, and there's a button to connect. Again, that makes it easy to reach out to people. If you do use that connect button with people, tell them how you saw it, noticed your job on LinkedIn, was interested in, submitted my resume already, would like to spend a few minutes discussing the opportunity, learning more about it. Again, this is a way that you can connect with people as well. Okay, the other thing about Med Electronics, when we did that, there's a jobs tab there. And again, I did the search. They've got 6 open jobs right at the moment. They're listed right here, but you can create a job alert for that particular company. I worked with a candidate yesterday and showed him how to do that. He was interested in a company out of Chicago, out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that had a local opening here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a sales representative or district sales rep for Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, and as it showed, one of the people that came up on the list also had worked in another company that was on his list of target companies. So we can reach out and make contact with other people, but you can list that and create job alerts for a number of your target companies that way. Something new that perhaps you hadn't considered. Some ideas for you to do when you take a look at your profile. Take a look at this sheet, make sure that each section is complete. Again, if yours is not, invest some time to do that. Make it current. Use the name that you're known by. Again, make it easy for the recruiter to call you. Again, I frequently get calls from telemarketers asking for John Alderson, and I'll ask which one. I said, there are 3 of us. And they say, well, and then sometimes they just hang up at that point. And so there's John, my father, who's passed away. There's me, Locke Alderson. Then there's my son, John Alderson III. So use the name that you want to be called by. Again, if you have them and you go by your middle name like I do. The headline needs to be the job title or titles. You can have multiple. And remember, there's 220 characters that you can use in your headline. But if you don't include a headline, I'll mention it again. It defaults to the title of the last job that you had. Complete the open to work section. Even if you don't open it up to everybody, at least open it up to recruiters. It allows you to put in 5 job titles and lets recruiters know that you're open to opportunities. Or you can open it up to all of LinkedIn, and it gives you that green banner around the lower part of you from about 5 o'clock to about 9 o'clock on your picture. Do include your phone number and your email on the first line of your profile in the About section. Make it easy for me to call you or pick up the phone. In your Experience section, you want to list the company names, the job titles that you've had, the duties, and the measurable results or accomplishments that you've achieved. It's one thing to talk about what your duties and responsibilities were. It's another thing to talk about what you achieved, because that's what companies are looking for. They're looking for somebody who can hit the ground running, use their experience and their expertise. You want to include keywords from your profession. You want to include skills from your profession as well. Jeff, I'm about ready to turn it back to you.
All righty. Do we want to do some searches? Do you want to look at some profiles? What would you like to do?
Well, we could take a look at profile. We could take a look at my profile for a minute.
All right, let's take a look at your profile first.
Huh?
Yeah, let's take a look at yours first, and then we'll see if anybody wants to show theirs.
Well, I've got that. Somehow I've got that open 3 times, Jeff, so I can't do that. So. Can you see that, Jeff?
Not yet.
Okay. Let me go back to. Well, for some reason, I haven't been able to pull it up.
I tell you what, I'll call up. I've called yours up, so we'll look at it from my computer.
Okay.
So here we go. So just tell me what you want to point out and.
Okay, scroll down on mine. You notice what things that are on mine. If you have contact information, you can click on my contact information. I've only opened up my email address and my phone number, okay? I don't remember doing that, but that's fine. Okay, my mobile phone number that people I don't want them calling me on my landline. Okay, so let's close that one.
And let me just add, I find profiles, people will put their birthday in there. I don't care about your birthday. I'm sorry. But
Don't.
the two things I want is a phone number and an email address.
Right.
Phone address, your street address, your birthday, unnecessary.
Okay. Scroll on down to my About section. Notice the top of my About section got my contact information, my email address where people can reach out to me. Okay. Take a look at some of the different formats that I've used in the About section. Notice the dashes, because I don't know that LinkedIn's editor allows you to use bullets. You can cut and paste into LinkedIn to use bullets, but you can use a dash or an asterisk with a space after it like that. Those are some of the speaking engagements that I've had. Those are some of the key words that are in recruiter and different types of recruiter that are in profile. A career transition speaker, a career consultant are mentioned there. Keep going, Jeff. Again, those are the featured section. My presentations, you can put a resume, or if you have a portfolio or a reel, you can include that there. Here's some of the activity that I had. Okay, that's the announcement that I was speaking today at this group. Below that, there are some other ones. Scroll on down the activity section. Okay.
Well, this is
off my home page.
Oh, go back to home page. All right, hold on.
Sorry about that. Okay. There I've included, there's an email that I included from Midge Duncan. I work with Midge at the MEG group, and she made a nice comment that I included there so people can know about me on that. Scroll on down to the Oracle one. I want to show that one. You might have to see more. Okay, there's the thing I wanted to show about the Oracle. You notice I was Oracle. They acquired Siebel Corporation, so that's the reason that there's that link there. And Oracle is a recognized logo, so that's an icon that automatically includes when you put in Oracle. Okay, if it's not a well recognized one, it gives you that 3 bars there, or 2 bars that are right there. Okay, scroll on down a little bit further. Okay, the schools that I have, those are the skills and endorsements that I have. Okay, those are the 3 that I happen to choose. Okay, and again, you can rotate those in and out based on what you're looking for. And here are some recommendations for some people that have, I mean, there's a couple, 3, I think, in the last 6 months. Anyway, nice thing. But again, there's show more. Again, scroll back up to the About section. One of the things I want to show about the About section, when you're looking at that, it only shows the first 3 lines. So those are that's prime real estate for advertising about you. What is it that you want to do? What can you do? You don't have to limit it to third person. I really use third person because old habits die hard, but you can use first person as you saw in some of the About sections in the presentation. Let's take a look at some other people's profiles. We've got a few minutes, Jeff.
Okay, somebody want to type your name in the chat box and we'll take a look at your profile. Anybody want to show their profile? Here we go. Kevin, are you the very first one here?
Yep. That's you, Kevin?
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Notice he's open to work. Okay. He has, and in terms of strategic project consultant type consulting, I would list some other job titles there in your headline.
Oh, excuse me?
List some other job titles: project consultant, project manager, PMO office. What are some other titles that you might have used? What kind of project management or consultant have you done? Is it software, hardware?
Yes, both.
Okay.
Mostly software.
Again, you can put those down. The more information you give, the more likely is somebody's going to know about you. They may not click yes to see through to you. Click his contact information. Okay. I don't know how to get, other than his email address, I don't know how to get hold of Kevin. So you can either go to your privacy settings and open up who can see that and add your phone number, or you can do that here. And again, Strategic account manager is different than project consultant. So there's some other titles that you could use in your about and below the connect there. You can use in that area, see all the details. You've used one job title, you have a chance to use 4 more, like project manager, PMO, program manager. What are some other things that you've done that might be interested to people? Okay, so that's that area. Again, in your about section, okay, it looks pretty good. You might want to use bullets or asterisks in a space or dashes in a space to set those off, because that's a long list of things to look at. But I don't see any contact information in your about section. Make it easy for the recruiter, the hiring manager, to reach out to you. So the top line should be phone number and email. Doesn't have contact me. It can just be phone number and email. People know that, what those are. We tend to shorten things today to make it easy for people.
How did you get that vertical line again?
Okay,
To
it's a
separate
shift.
things?
It's a shift. It's a keyboard key above the enter key on your keyboard, and it's a shift.
Okay.
Key above your enter character, and use a space on either side of it.
And I would probably break all this up. I would break this up probably into 2 different sections. Maybe one of them on keywords and the other one could be technical things or.
Okay, one additional thing I see that's very important, having recruited for that kind of people, TS SBI should be in your profile at the top. It should be in your, either in your headline or in your, right there at the top, right there under strategic consulting, TS/SBI.
Also, Kevin, one other thing here, when you say open to work and we open it up here, it says that you want to work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But when I look at your profile, it says that you live in Sarasota. So I think you need to pick, you can just change this to say that you want to be in Dallas, change this and put in a Dallas zip code or something just to,
I see.
DFW area, because I would see that and go,
no, I'm not paying for reload. I'm not paying for reload as a recruiter.
Right. So just
that top secret special background investigation. There are companies here in the Dallas area that employ that. Raytheon is one of those. Texas Instruments is another one that use that kind of background, even if it's been more than a couple of years since you've had it. The fact that you had it at once, it's easier to get it again. And those cost anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 for the government to get those.
Okay.
And the fact that you've had them helps you to apply for companies with that kind of background here in the Dallas area.
Okay.
Martin Marietta is another one. Trying to think. It used to be LTV Aerospace, but it's gone different companies' names now. So. Looks like you've got a pretty good resume. Again, you might want to list MBA after your name. Again, that's one of the rare areas where they'll let you put something after your name on the top line, MBA.
Okay.
You've got another thing that you've got, certified Scrum Master. Again, that's something that I would want to put in a couple places. In your headline, as I said, you've got 220 characters. So put Scrum Master with a pipe character on either end of it. If that's something that's of interest to you, or that's the kind of work that you're interested in. Again, enterprise software is another thing that you could put up in your headline, even though it's in your skills area. Again, what type of enterprise software? Is it an Oracle, CRM package, financials? Is it Salesforce? Salesforce is particularly hot right now.
Well, yeah, I know how to use Salesforce. I've done it several times.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. What's a target? Let's do one other thing for him, Jeff. Let's go to the top and click on job. Well, click on jobs. Enter in. Let's go project manager. Just for the sake of it, you can catch it from the drop down. Now, this is for the United States. Remember I said it defaults to the United States, so you may want to go up and edit where it says United States on the top line and enter Dallas. Okay. Now there are 63,300. One of the first things that you want to do is go to either date posted or the all filters. Either one will take you there. But I like the past week and it narrows it down in a hurry. These are fairly current jobs. 1,700 jobs. Okay. The experience level is another filter that you can use. Mid-senior director level. Exit down, reduces again by 2/3. And again, you have specific companies, whether they'll work remote. Again, the all filters are, you have a reset button over there on the left. Okay. If you want to go back to your original search. You can do a specific company search as well if you have some target companies. Go over to the jobs tab where it's in green, Jeff. Let's do one other thing. Kevin, have you got a specific company that you're targeting? Jobs tab over here, green.
Well, in Dallas, I don't have right now, but Honeywell and Lockheed Martin, and IBM, going back to IBM, it's been a while, but
Okay.
I've applied there.
Type in Raytheon, because that's one that's probably going to have some jobs.
Yeah, I used to work for Hughes, which was split up into Boeing and Raytheon
Yeah.
primarily.
Okay, notice one thing right here. The first job listed is for a TS-SCI. You've had an SBI. They're very similar in range. Raytheon up in McKinney is looking for an antenna range engineer. You're a section manager with security clearances. Again, that's why that security clearances in your case is something that you want to add. Now those are clearance jobs is an agency in Richardson. But again, those are some companies that you may want to take a look at. This is a way to do it. Let's take a look at somebody else, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good afternoon, Mike.
The friendly CPA.
Friendly CPA. Notice he has CPA after his name. Okay.
I like his background, his banner, because it's sort of, you know, it
As he's worked with
tells you
money.
what somebody does. Email, phone number.
He's open to work as well. He's open, in this case, he's open. He's got that green banner. He's open to everybody on LinkedIn. Now you can limit that just to recruiters if you want to. For those people that still have a job, that's something you may want to consider. These are the jobs that he's open to, the different titles, the location. He's looking primarily in the Dallas area, Dallas, North Texas area, North Dallas area. And he's available immediately. Okay. His about section has his phone number. Okay, right at the moment. Let's connect right there in his phone number. I might make that a line by itself so it stands out, but that's the only thing I see about that. I might add dashes or asterisks in front of the areas of specialization or areas of expertise or software package that he's worked with. Okay. And break that.
So Locke, what's the deal, excuse me, with putting some kind of symbol in front of the item?
Just makes it stand out. It's a little easier to read visually.
Because I guess what happens is you lose the specialty and the first title because it's all left justified. I guess even if you just went and put a couple spaces in here just to indent
Put a
it.
line, put a blank line after specialties. You do a carriage return there and it'll separate them.
Right. And here he's listed as Clifton Strengths Care.
Strength finders thing, which is good. That's okay as well. People are going to want to know. Remember, I mentioned about having a current job. He's owner of Warner Financial Consulting. Okay, people want to know what you've been doing since that last full-time gig. He could be as a owner or consultant, okay? Again, that may be that you're just looking for a job. That's how recruiters used to look at that when somebody was in consulting like that, job. But if he's had actual things that he's done, include some of that. Here's something that he's done full-time. That's one of the projects that he worked on. One other thing that I see, what were the major accomplishments that you had at each of those employers that were listed there, or a project that you worked on? That's simply talking about your duties. That's what you did. What happened because of what you did. Received platinum award. Here's an accomplishment for processing $100 million applicant accounts receivable transactions backlog. So you solved a problem there. But it doesn't really.
One right down here, reduce statement delivery from 30 to 10 days.
That's a major accomplishment. Those are two accomplishment statements, but because you've used it as all bullets, in 6 to 10 seconds, which one do you want me to pay attention to? Because that's what you get when recruiters look at stuff like that. Okay. Those are the suggestions that I have that you can have. And your background with being as diverse it is in terms of industries, you could do something like that in your 5 different top job titles as well, or different industries could be listed in your headline. You might want to list some of the industries that you worked in, like real estate or some of the others. You've got some good recommendations there. And your interest?
I would try to maybe get 2 of them from 2021. If you can get something updated, because, I don't know how much 2011 is gonna, warrant anything, but if you can get 2 of them from 2021, that would be beneficial. And that's true for everybody.
Okay. You want to look at a job, Michael, or can we look at somebody else?
Go ahead and give somebody else a chance.
Okay.
Anybody else out there? We've got time to look at one more person.
I have a question, Jeff. This is Ann Spav.
Okay, Ann.
You mentioned about having a current position. I've been out of work for 2 years. And I recently became a student again at the University of Texas, Austin. I'm getting a paralegal certificate. Since it's been 2 years.
By all means, that's employment. You want to
So would I list that as a student, Locke?
Sure. And list the section that you're pursuing a certification in as a legal assistant or a legal secretary or whatever what you're pursuing as a certification.
Okay. Thank you.
Because that fills in a gap. Because if you're out for 2-3 years, people are going to want to know what your current experience is.
Exactly.
Okay. At DXC, okay, that you were research analyst. What have you done to keep your skills up? And your titles, what are the titles that you're looking at? Legal assistant, it could be research assistant.
Well, that's why I'm taking it. I do want to go into legal research.
Okay.
And
When
the
I'm finished
question
with
I
the
have
program.
here, just for your experience, you worked at DXC, you had the same job title for 22 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did?
I mean, it changed more or less, but I really did have the same job for 22 years.
Wow.
No, not the same job, the same title.
Well, I could change it, Jeff, and that's a whole nother discussion, but basically, yes, I did have the same position for that long.
Okay.
Okay. Nothing
Very good.
wrong with that. I'm just saying, but the only thing to consider is I had somebody with LTV Corporation and he had 26 years of experience. And the question always comes up, is it 1 year of experience repeated 26 times, or is it 26 years of differing and possibly more progressive experience?
I definitely have the discussion about that. I have that prepared on how to address that.
Again, the headline
I like
that
your
you,
little quote, but I don't really know what you want to do. I mean, you don't have any job titles in here,
Right.
so people.
put a couple of job titles. When you search a job, any job that you search for, you've got 220 characters to play with there. You're doing it. I make people smarter. Yes. The question in a recruiter's mind is how.
Right. Well,
They may ask the question, but they probably won't get in touch with you.
I just started the program, Locke,
Okay.
and so I'm not ready to really go out and look for a job yet. I don't qualify for one. So I'm in a holding pattern right now. So I'm not
Right.
officially looking.
Yeah.
So I do realize that when I go out, I will be.
But there are people that will hire somebody to learn the job. Okay. Jeff and I both have know of a friend that worked as a volunteer at Medical City Plano in the emergency room, and they hired because he'd done that, and they hired him on full-time, even though it was part-time. He's retired, but he's working 30 hours a week. Okay. So anything that you've done part-time or interested in, put that down, because somebody may pick that up and have you join before you're a full-fledged assistant or a legal assistant, a legal researcher. They may employ you in other activity, other clerical functions. It's worth putting that down just to see what happens.
All right, thanks for
And-
that.
And you might find somebody who's willing to help pay for your education.
That's true. Good point, Michael.
Right.
Again, anybody that would like the slide deck from me, lockealderson@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send it to you.
Well, Locke, thank you very much. Great information today, as always. I really appreciate your time today. Next week, Terry Sullivan will be with us to talk about how to tell your key contacts and prospects who you are, what you do, and how you can help. But please note the session will not be recorded to view after the event. Terry doesn't allow his stuff to be out there. So if you want to watch Terry next week, you do need to watch him live.
And Terry's
All right.
worth signing up for, as is
Yeah.
Ruth, as is.
So I need everybody to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. Very, 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 very important. You know, you want to look for the blue connect button. The blue connect button. If you see a white connect button, never ever click on it. So if you see a white connect button, click on the person's face, go to their profile, and then you should be able to see the blue connect button. So you can send a blue, you can then send a request, send a note to that person and just let them know that you met them here. And listen, I've had 3 or 4 people try to connect with me this morning. Not one of them sent me a personal note. Not one of them have been connected with me because I don't know how I met the person. So please send me, if you want to connect, send that personal note always. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 5 days a week. Hopefully you'll join us tomorrow for Interviewing Wednesday. We'll be on session number 9, how to demonstrate enthusiasm. When you go to an interview, you've got to be enthusiastic, and they'll share some key phrases and words that you can use during the interview to let the interviewer know that you're interested in really being here. And if you're thinking about changing careers or industries, we're going to talk about that as a separate little topic also. Thursday, for Effective Resume Thursdays, we'll talk about the top 10 resume wreckers, things that will just blow you out of the water. Just remember, when somebody's looking at a resume, when they're looking at a pile of resumes, they're not really looking to see, we'll put it this way, if they see an error, they just go on to the next resume. You're done. A misspelling, wrong tense, all sorts of things. So, you know, you've got to make your resume perfect. And here's just top 10 things to maybe take a look at. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting, we're going to have open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. It's just sort of a free-for-all. Anybody can offer their opinions and suggestions, and it's always sort of interesting because we never know which way the conversation is going to go. This Friday at 1 o'clock, the Women of Wisdom will be meeting. It is by invitation only, so if you're interested in joining, number one, you have to be a woman. Send an email to WOW@careerdfw.org, WOW@careerdfw.org, and they'll let you know about how to join this Friday. Next Monday, we will not have a session for Networking Mondays. It'll be it's July the 5th, but it's the legal holiday, July 4th. So we won't be here, but we'll be back in a week after that about networking the old-fashioned way with Jay Arbetter. If you'd like to join the Career DFW and Career USA LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to do so. You don't have to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the DFW LinkedIn group. We have over 13,000 members in the Dallas-Fort Worth group, so it's a great way to expand your connections. This session has been recorded. It will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. Please follow us on Facebook. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll take a couple hours for YouTube to upload the video, but it'll be up there within a couple hours. We really appreciate the more people who follow and like us, the more options that both of the platforms open up to us, which really help us out. On the Career USA YouTube channel, it looks something like this. Be sure to click on playlist if you're not on the playlist video. And then what happens is you'll see that there's one for resumes, interviewing, LinkedIn, North Dallas, Plano. It's really the easiest way to then find which one you want. Don't click on the video itself, but click down below where you see that red arrow which says view full playlist. And then up will come a list of all the different events. Should be the newest one on top. And then you can go back and you can pick whichever topic you'd like to go back and watch. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops, we put out 6 or 7 emails a week. You will never be spammed, but the nice thing about our emails, if you're not getting them from another source, is that we will tell you the title of the day, the topic of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. So you'll be able to connect with us or jump right into the video. You don't have to go search for it somewhere. Please note, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We have no full or part-time employees. Locke volunteers this time to present. I'm a volunteer. I've never gotten paid to do any of this over the last 13 years. I'm just here to help you get your next great opportunity. Career DFW, we survive on donations. It helps pay for Zoom, the web names, the web hostings, and anything I can't get donated. So please consider making a donation when you get your next job. We'd really, really appreciate it. So thank you for joining us today. Locke, once again, thank you very much. And everybody else, have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you later in the week.
Thank you.